The Griffin trademark is much in demand by the music industry. Companies keen to promote bands in an oversubscribed market want a Griffin sleeve to put the final gloss on their carefully conceived package. Griffin excelled himself with this cover for Depeche Mode. It won him a Design and Art Direction Award for photography. And if the skyline looks familiar...
He was shot in Essex, near Stansted Airport. The idea was born out from meetings at the record company that we should have a Russian peasant with a scythe in a cornfield. God was with us in the sense that the clouds were terrific. And I'd learned from being here in the studio how to sort of light a subject to give it that just extra little bit.
What did you actually bring to that shot and what did you have to do to make it work?
A lot of research, a lot of looking at paintings and trying to understand what amount of light to put back in to a picture, i.e. the foreground light. All the corn was grey and I had to light all the foreground corn to give it back its corn colour.
Froze to the bone in my igloo home, counting the days till the ice turns green. You know when heaven and hell collide, there are no in between.
The record business is notoriously fickle, but Griffin and Echo and the Bunnymen have worked together on 4 album covers, a long player by some standards. Back to the beginnings of the Bunnymen, Rob Dickens at WEA.
We felt so strongly about the potential of the band that we formed a label called Corova, which we did in conjunction with another Warner company, WEA, which is the company I now run.
How did Brian Griffin and Echo and the Bunnymen sort of get together initially?
Well, as a publisher, I had very little control on the look of any of the bands that we were associated with. And I'd seen, in fact, on my wall, a business card of Brian Griffin's, which has 2 of his photographs, one either side, that always impressed me. So when we formed the label, I thought, aha, I can use Brian Griffin. And I think Brian's pictures totally go with the Bunnymen's music, which is why we put them together and why we keep them together. It's because they match, they fit, and if anyone looking at the picture will kind of know what the music's like. And anyone listening to the music can see why the picture's on the front. We had Woodland for the first album, Seashore for the second, the Iceland shoot for the third, and this one was Bill's idea to actually go to a cave. And for some reason, because the songs on the album, we wanted water in a boat, but we'd already done the Seashore. So Brian came up with the idea of doing the cave in Cornwall, which has both a lake and it has the cave atmosphere.
By looking at the history of the covers before, they're always in a natural situation, which looks extraordinary. And they're just doing very natural things like walking, standing up, or rowing a boat.
Griffin had 2 days to get the job done. 2 days to get 1 photograph seemed pretty generous. The morning of the first day started well. Griffin and his assistant, Stuart Graham, with help from a generator big enough to light a cathedral, started the transformation of the slate mine to a suitable place where Bunnymen might be found. Lighting the darkness was not a problem. Lighting it to everyone's satisfaction was to prove more difficult.
And that shadow there, that big like V shadow there, gives the illusion that the water goes on, round the back.
Also makes it cool look deep as well.
And the reflection by throwing the light on the back. Will that go any harder, Don, that far light?
Well, it's this one. But it's also hitting the ceiling.
Bit to the left.
Yeah, bit more to the left.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, what we've got to try and get is that it goes on forever. And
perhaps we take the light down on that. See where the ridge comes down, where the chain's hanging down. Underneath there. See what that does.
Yeah, can you just whack it just?
The last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Down. Tip it down a bit.
Just. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, Don.
It's lovely.
Great. Good one, Don. It's really I mean, I don't think we should put any colour in it at all, you know. I think it should be really...
monochromatic.
Monochromatic. It'd be so easy to be very psychedelic with it.
Let's put some colour in the boat when they're in the boat.
Yeah.
Everybody else that way.
Here comes a bit of red water. What happens, you get together with all the people in the band and they have ideas, you have ideas, and you come to some solution together. And that solution generally means demonstrating prior to that different lighting setups and see if they work, and finding out that they don't work, and then correcting that and going on from there in a positive way, really. Sorry, Don, can we have a red on the roof again? Yeah, that one we had earlier.
The water isn't ready.
Well, what?
Lighting setup version 2. The verdict? It was better before.
A real fundamental problem is that I didn't understand how to light slate, which might sound ridiculous, but it's the same as photographing coloured people in a sense. One tends to overlight them and it destroys the atmosphere in the face or in the cave. It's, I just overlit that cave and I just was just not getting anywhere with it. And it might have looked fairly straightforward from looking at the film, but it was very difficult for me, really. And that was my problem. I'm going to make a big decision here. I'm not going to do any psychedelic lighting at all. I'm going to have it just ordinary.
Ordinary daylight?
Yeah. I'm just going to send it blue. And if I need a colour, I'll just put it on the boat and blow the boat. We lit the whole cave in red light and green light and blue light. And we tried it and it didn't really look right. It looked like a cheap sort of polystyrene fairground sort of situation.
Do you like working under those hair-raising conditions?
It has to be like that, because it would just be sort of packing one's sandwiches up and going to work. You know, you have to put yourself in a spot, especially when being a freelance photographer is not 3 months or 1 year, it's 10 years, 20 years of doing something you enjoy, so you have to find problems all the way to excite you, really.
I tend to interfere. I keep out of studios when recording and photographic shoots for the simple reason, if you have someone that you respect and who has a talent, then why should you interfere with it? And I know that objectively, but subjectively, if I'm there, I'll interfere, and Brian's the worst person to interfere with. He goes into some kind of coma while he's shooting.
Attention to detail is important. One detail which proved stubborn to remove was a length of chain. Certainly this chain gang couldn't shift it. For a while, things didn't seem to be going so well. But on the principle that if you can't lose it, use it, Griffin was back in business, with a boat and some Bunnymen.
Nose round a bit. It'll be a battle, probably. There was, out of 3 covers, only one hasn't been a battle, really. And the one that had the strongest battle was like the album cover of the year in '82. But I'm close to the band now, and they're close to me. And we understand each other, so we'll hopefully back each other up when it comes to the point of selling the cover.
I like Mac leaning over like that and touching the water. It's pretty magical.
Another one. See this one, I like the depth of it. Look, they've come from somewhere. The other one,
you might not notice it without the boat, though. If you took the boat away, you might not. No.
Actually, what's extraordinary?
Without the boat, you've got no distance, have you?
I know. You don't know what size it is.
In fact, what's extraordinary, we created the illusion that they'd come somewhere in this photograph, because in fact that gap in the background was created as illusion by doing a side light coming down and hitting the piece of rock. There is no gap there, in fact. So that's just by an illusion of underexposure by creating a shadow.
There's not a lot of movement here, is there, in the Les and Pete? It's very static the way you're just holding the oars.
But in terms of general atmosphere, I think these are probably a good cross-section.
But not in faces.
I